What is up, everyone? It's Odin here. This fine Thursday evening, drawing as I'm wont to do. Uh, Working on this next page. I draw very, very loose pencils, and I say that like it's almost like thumbnails on the board. It's how I've always done it. Works for me, so I mostly draw with ink. Like this is very loose and sketchy, and then I'm drawing with the inks because it's funner that way. I actually don't like drawing with pencil. Uh, I just don't like pencils. I like inks. I've always preferred drawing with ink. Um, yeah, so but while I'm working on this, my buddy, or my buddies, two close friends that are not just close friends, but like brothers. Grew up together, known each other since I was 10, and they are two brothers, and me and my closest in age brother, we all grew up together, and they are coming out to Spokane to visit me, which is the coolest because they have never been out here. I've lived out here for how long have I been here? Since 2007, so 15 years, and they have. This is the first time they're coming to visit, and again, like I go out to Colorado a lot, so it's not surprising that they don't come out here because I go out there so many times. But I kept bugging them, like, when are you gonna come visit me? When are you gonna come visit me? Like, come see my home for the time being. Who knows how long? But yeah, so they're gonna fly into Seattle. I'm gonna drive over there, pick them up from the airport. We got an Airbnb over there. We're gonna stay there for a couple days, have some fun. You know, fuck around, and then come back to Spokane for a couple days, so I can show them kind of my place. You know, come see the kids, do all the shit there is to do in Spokane, or the shit that I think's worthy. But I'm excited. I'm really excited for them, and I got things I got to do. This weekend's going to be a lot of that prepping for them to come out here. So yeah, it'll be cool. But we grew up together. But when we were young, like I said, I'd known him since I was 10. And I didn't like him that much. So I grew up dirt poor at basically what our town's projects would be, low income apartment complex. And it's honestly a great environment for a kid to grow up in. You learn a lot. You know, you get into fights, you're constantly at odds with other kids because there's so many other kids. Some of them are your friends, some of them aren't. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. But every football season, we were out there, and we had a big field that we'd play football in all the time. Tackle football, fucking each other up. I mean, just destroying each other. You know, who knows what was out in that field, broken glass, whatever. We didn't care. Played football. And then all other seasons, we played basketball. Sometimes we played baseball. You know, sometimes we'd get in fights, but then we go to one kid's house, play, if they had a Nintendo or something. And then later Genesis, but play video games, hang out, just lots of, just kid stuff. But, my kids grew up out in the country, which is kind of a lifestyle that their mom and I decided we wanted for them. But I honestly, I can't put a value on the experience we got from growing up in that kind of, like I said, projects environment. But it was a community, and there was lots of kids, and like I said, not all of them were friends, and quite often there would be feuds and cliques and all that kind of crap. But yeah, I didn't like him. Keith is the older brother. Keith's 2 years older than I am, and he's been my best friend for a long, long time. His younger brother Kent is also basically my best friend. I don't consider one of them closer than the other at this point, even though Keith was always more my best friend. So Kent's 2 years younger than me. Keith is 2 years older. And at that time, that's kind of a big difference sometimes. But we didn't care. There's so many kids. We all just hung out. But Keith, man, that guy's always been crazy. He doesn't mind that I say that. He knows it. He's calmed down a lot. But it's still there. But when I first met him, I thought he was such an asshole. Because he was always starting shit, and he was cocky, and he just... that kind of personality. But they had moved there from Greeley, and where they lived in Greeley, you know, they saw some shit, you know. So they were coming from an even rougher environment into ours, where it was kind of like the crazier winds where they came from. So he knew, like, going into a new situation, just out crazy everybody out, you know, just be more aggressive, be more crazy. But that said, he was 2 years older than me, and my actual brother is 2 years older than me, same age as Keith, but he wasn't much of a fighter. And Keith was always wanting to mix it up, but like I said, I was 10 or 11. He was like 12, 13. That's a big jump at that time, you know? And like the maturity level and just that growth jump. But I remember one time we were playing football, but Keith wasn't playing, and I was playing against Kent, his younger brother. And Kent was trying to tackle me. He grabbed my shirt and swung me over and ripped my shirt off. It pissed me off so bad because he was the 2 years younger than me, so I was like, fuck that. And so I went after him, chasing him, and then I kicked his ass, and then he ran away crying, going like, I'm getting my brother. I'm like, damn it. Because I wasn't scared of Kent because of the age difference. It didn't matter if he was just as crazy as his brother. The age difference, you know. Cheers, by the way. This is some more of that dry fly bourbon. This time having it on the rocks in my nice whiskey glass that I got from a local place that made kind of this one has Odin's tree on it. You know, it's really cool. Had to get it. So anyway, I kind of hid out for a couple days, but then Keith never said anything about it, so I'm guessing nothing happened of it. Keith probably gave Kent a hard time, being like, being such a pussy. But anyway, they moved away again. I didn't see him for a long time. They would come every once in a while, just kind of show up. Actually, Keith, I would never see Kent. And he would just kind of like come into town to visit and just be in town, starting, you know, we were like teenagers at this point, just acting like idiots and stuff. And he wasn't my friend. He wasn't an enemy at that time. I remember he hung out at my house once or twice, just being in town, you know, doing the stupid stuff that we were doing at that time. Though I'm not going to go into details and stuff. But so anyway, I moved away. I got kicked. My mom kicked him out of my house because I was just screwing up, getting into fights, getting in trouble, not going to school, not getting schoolwork done. She sent me to live with my dad in southern Colorado, which is, I lived in Walsenburg, which is right near the not Santa Fe, New Mexico border. And that was an experience. But anyway, I got out of there as fast as I could and ended up coming back to northern Colorado when I was 17. I moved out. And so I was living on my own at 17. And then one friend that I had when I moved back, he was living in this one part of town. He's like, hey, you know, I have these new neighbors, and I think you know who they are. And he explained it. I'm like, oh, that's Keith and Kent. Yeah, I know them. They're assholes. He's like, no, they're cool, man. They come over. They live next door. They come over and we hang out. I'm like, all right, you know. So I'm hanging out, and then lo and behold, they were being totally cool. They were like different people. I mean, Keith was still totally crazy. I mean, they're both pretty crazy, but like in a much cooler way. I think we just had more common interests at that point. We were both like, before they were into like this gangster rap and, you know, like kind of acting a little bit, like posturing a little bit like that, which just didn't, I didn't like it. And then when they came back, they were like metalheads, especially Kent. Like him and I like really clicked music wise. So then I just started hanging out with them a lot, and next thing you know, Keith and I became roommates. He got me a job at his place of work, which was King Soopers, local grocery store. And I was a night stalker, working overnights. Night Stalker is a cool title. It's creepy, but it's kind of cool sounding. Kind of sounds like a comic book character. The Night Stalker stalks you at night. But that's really where our friendship just blew up. And then Keith and I went through some very intense things together. Again, I'm not going to go into detail. That really solidified that we're kind of connected because we were the only people who went through that. And that really solidified our friendship. And then I lived with Kent, and he ended up getting married. Well, he wasn't married yet, but his fiance, girlfriend, they were buying a house, and, you know, to help them with their house payment, which I wasn't very good at because I was a bum. I was such a loser. But I lived with them for a while. Anyway, they were my best friends, like brothers, and then ended up moving to Spokane, Washington, because of my daughter's mom. It's all part of my story, you know. I don't have regrets over it, even though it feels like. Yeah, anyway. And who knows what the future holds? I really don't know, as far as geographically where I'm going to live, all these kind of things. I mean, we never know, but. That said, they're like brothers. They're as close as anybody. So I've always wanted, in a lot of ways, to move back to Colorado. My sister's there. I'm also very close with. My oldest brother lives there, who I didn't used to be close with, but we're really close now. And then my other brother, the one who we all grew up together, he lives in Alaska again. But that was his choice. But it was with a ex-wife that he had. But he just recently got married up there and is doing really good, really happy. And I'm happy for him. So, but anyway, all that to say, I'm really excited for them to come out. And I miss them dearly. And we'll start in Seattle. Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to do. So in Seattle, we're going to be down near Belltown, go see Pike's Place Market, and all these things, but there's a shop in Pike's Place Market called, what is it called? Orange Dragon, or not Dragon, Orange Dracula. I think that's like Orange Dracula. It's a weird name like that. But it's a novelty shop with weird novelty items, and I picked this up there last time I was there. Bat Boy Lives. It's World Weekly News, or Weekly World News, sorry. And it's just loaded with different articles. See, like this. Saddam and Osama adopt shaved chimp. I mean, if that isn't news, I don't know what is. Frictions mount as spurned pets take out frustrations on the new arrival. I'm assuming the adopted shaved chimp, which oddly looks like a little boy with a superimposed chimp face. These are gold in there. There's no shortage of Pope wants Mel Gibson as a successor. Who knew? And you see a lot of Batboy. He's a reoccurring character in Weekly World News. Man grows world's largest or longest nose hair. Look at that. What a treasure trove of nonsensical, 100% real news articles. It's just, you have to know the source to get the proper articles. wish I could find the one I found the other day. Was it said like the cabinet had their legs shortened so that the president looked taller, and it was at the time of Bush, and it shows Condoleezza Rice, Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld. They're all like with these little tiny legs, standing like little midgets around the breast. I don't know why that one made me laugh so much, but they all do, especially if you're in the right mood to get tickled by these like legit stories that you know, that mainstream media just won't talk about. So I have them, so I can always know what's really going on or what was going on. I don't know, when that was made. But that's a cool shop in Seattle, Pike's Place Market. It's cool. Lots of cool shops, but once I went one time, and then we went back, and then I went back, and take my daughters, and I'm like, okay, I've been to all these shops. It's really not as cool as I originally thought. The area is cool. There's lots of cool places to eat. There's lots of cool bars. There's some cool shops, but everything is exorbitant price-wise in Seattle, especially in the more touristy area like that. But that's what we're gonna do when we're out there. So Keith is absolutely in love with, and we all are, but he's a little bit more even so, with 90s Seattle sound grunge bands. And and he's never been to Seattle, so to him, like especially Lane Staley, he was such a big Alice in Chains fan. I mean, ridiculously obsessed with Alice in Chains. And again, we all are, like, but not on his level. So, but to him, this is like a pilgrimage. He's like, I want to go visit. So he wants to go where Lane's apartment was, and he wants to go to some of the studios where they recorded, and I totally get that. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I've never done that stuff, so I would be down for that. I've seen the other stuff Seattle has to offer, so. But the other stuff is all, there's a lot of touristy stuff, like the Space Needle, of course, the M-Pop Museum, music of pop culture. The Puget Sound itself, the pier area is beautiful. So if you're by Pike's Place Market, you can see all that. Maybe take a ferry across to the peninsula and have a little meal, and then ferry our way back. Ferry our way back. That's us. But it'll be cool, man. And it might just be the last hurrah for me in Seattle. I just don't know what the future's holding as far as where I'm going. I made one video talking about it extensively, but I ended up deleting that video because I was like, it's a little too personal. I can talk about some personal things, but that one was a little too personal. But anyway, I know the gig. When I make a video, I don't draw as much as I want. So I'm going to end it there. But as always, I hope everyone who stumbles across this video watches it for their leisure and made it to the end. I want you to know that I hope you have a pure, awesome, amazing day tomorrow and tonight and for the rest of your time. That everything is awesome for you. And all of your projects and endeavors, if they are met with resistance, it makes you better and stronger and more powerful in the end. So that the next time you just conquer it and destroy it. And, like Commander Mark would say, draw, draw, draw. Practice your drawing. I keep wanting to say 24 hours a day. Why not? Why not 26? Draw, draw, draw. Practice your drawing 26 hours a day. And I'll see you next time. That's how Mark Kistler, I learned his last name, would end a show. So, with that, see ya.